You know what really grinds my gears? Walking into a gun store and watching someone drop $2,000 on a name brand pistol when there's a firearm sitting right next to it. Half the price, better trigger, more reliable, but nobody's talking about it. Why? Because the algorithm buried it. Because the forums memed it into the dirt. Because some YouTuber with a sponsorship deal never mentioned it. Today, we're fixing that. I'm talking about 15 firearms that'll outshoot, outlast, and outperform guns that cost twice as much. And if you stick around till the end, I'll show you one that'll make you question every purchasing decision you've ever made. Let's start with a handgun that got absolutely buried by internet groupthink, the Canik TP9 series. Now, I know what you're thinking. Turkish gun? No thanks. And that's exactly the problem. Y'all have been sleeping on these because of where they're made. Meanwhile, this thing has been eating Glock's lunch in every objective measure that matters. The TP9 SF Elite comes in around $350. For that, you get a match-grade barrel, a trigger that breaks cleaner than most custom Glocks, fiber optic sights out of the box, and a 20-round capacity. I've put 5,000 rounds through mine, 0 malfunctions. Meanwhile, your buddy's $600 Glock needed a trigger job, aftermarket sights, and still shoots like a staple gun. The internet decided Canik couldn't be good because it wasn't expensive enough. That's not quality control talking. That's insecurity with a credit card. Next up, the Ruger American Rifle. This one got murdered by rifle snobs who wouldn't touch synthetic stocks if their life depended on it. It's not a Tikka, it's not a Bergara, it's barely a real rifle. Really? Because for $400, this thing shoots sub-MOA groups all day long. I'm talking accuracy that competes with rifles costing 3 times as much. The trigger's adjustable down to 3 pounds. It's got a rotary magazine that actually feeds reliably looking at you, savage. And it's so lightweight, you'll actually want to carry it up a mountain instead of leaving it in the truck. But Ruger's marketing department apparently took a nap during the launch. Let me talk about a shotgun that got buried so hard it's practically archaeological, the Stoeger M3500. This is a perfect example of guilt by association. People see the price tag, $600, and immediately assume it's junk. Then they see it's made by Stoeger, which is owned by Benelli, and suddenly their brain short circuits. Here's what actually happened. Benelli needed a budget line. They took the inertia-driven system that made the M2 legendary, simplified the furniture, used cost-effective manufacturing, and created a 3.5-inch capable semi-auto that runs everything from light target loads to magnums without adjusting a single thing. Now let's get spicy with the Palmetto State Armory PA-15. Oh, I can already hear the comment section heating up. PSA? That's poverty tier. And that's exactly why this gun belongs on this list. Listen, PSA figured out how to make a mil-spec AR-15 that actually runs for $500. Nitride bolt carrier group, chrome moly barrel, M4 feed ramps, properly staked castle nut. It's not fancy. There's no ambi controls, no billet receiver, no Instagram clout. But you know what it does? It shoots. I've seen budget PSA builds outlast expensive custom ARs at carbine courses. Why? Because PSA focused on the parts that matter: the barrel, the BCG, the chamber dimensions, and didn't waste money on aesthetic upgrades that don't affect function. But here's one that'll hurt some feelings: the Taurus G3. Yeah, I said it. Taurus. Before you close the video, hear me out. Old Taurus had quality control issues. I'm not denying that. But new Taurus? Post 2015? Completely different company. The G3 is a 17-round, striker-fired 9mm that costs $250 and has been torture tested by enough people that we can't pretend it's unreliable anymore. The trigger's not mushy. The sights are actually usable. And the grip texture is aggressive enough to work in real defensive scenarios. But because Taurus had a bad reputation 15 years ago, people still won't touch it. Meanwhile, they'll drop $600 on an M&P or a Glock and act like they're getting triple the performance. You're not. You're getting a brand name and the approval of strangers on the internet. I'm not saying the G3 is perfect. I'm saying it's reliable, accurate enough for defensive use, and costs less than dinner for two at a decent steakhouse. If you're telling new shooters they need to save up $800 before they can defend themselves, you're part of the problem. Let's shift gears to a revolver that got absolutely disrespected the EAA Windicator. This is a tank of a wheel gun that does everything a defensive revolver should do for $300. It's got a transfer bar safety, decent sights, comfortable rubber grips, and it's overbuilt like European engineers decided to prove a point. But it's not a Smith & Wesson. It's not a Ruger GP100. So the revolver purists turned up their noses. Meanwhile, this thing digests hot 357 Magnum loads without complaint and keeps ticking while people are babying their $800 collectibles. You want reliability? This gun was designed for people who actually use their firearms instead of safe queening them. The Windicator doesn't care about your Instagram aesthetic. It cares about going bang every single time you pull the trigger. And it does. Moving on to something that'll make the lever action crowd uncomfortable. The Henry Long Ranger. People see Henry and immediately think brass furniture and cowboy cosplay. What they don't realize is Henry built a modern hunting lever action with a detachable box magazine, a proper scope mount, and accuracy that embarrasses half the bolt guns on the market. This rifle shoots MOA, or better, with decent ammo. It's got a butter smooth action, comes in real hunting calibers like 6.5 Creedmoor and 308, and it feeds reliably from the magazine. For $900, you're getting a hunting rifle that's practical, accurate, and actually fun to shoot. But lever actions are FUD guns, right? They're obsolete. Except this one outperforms plenty of modern rifles, while giving you faster follow-up shots than a bolt gun and more soul than another cookie-cutter Remington 700 clone. Here's a deep cut, the CZ-P7. This is what happens when a company makes an outstanding pistol but fails completely at marketing it. The P7 is a hammer-fired, polymer-framed 9mm with a decocker, swappable safety, interchangeable backstraps, and a trigger that's better than anything in its price range. It costs around $450. For that, you get CZ's legendary reliability, night sights, a rail for accessories, and a 16-round capacity. The grip angle is perfect. The reset is short and tactile, and the accuracy is legitimately competition grade. So why isn't everyone carrying one? Because CZ doesn't sponsor every shooting competition and pay influencers to hype their products. They just make good guns and assume people will figure it out. Turns out, that's not how modern marketing works. The internet would rather argue about Glock versus SIG for the 1000th time than acknowledge that CZ has been quietly outperforming both for decades at a lower price point. Let's talk shotguns again, specifically the Maverick 88. This is a Mossberg 500 that costs $150. Same action, same reliability, same aftermarket support. The only differences? The safety location and the fact that it doesn't say Mossberg on the side. People will shame you for buying a Maverick while they're spending $350 on a 500 that does the exact same job. It's a pump shotgun, it racks shells and fires them. That's it. You're not getting magical reliability upgrades by spending more. You're getting a brand name. I've seen Maverick 88s run thousands of rounds in 3-gun competitions, home defense scenarios, and hunting trips without a single failure. But gun snobs will tell you it's trash because it's not expensive enough to justify their purchase decisions. If your ego needs a pricier shotgun to feel valid, that's fine. But don't pretend the Maverick is somehow inferior when it's built in the same factory with the same parts.